Hi, I'm Felipa, and today is day 106 of my 365-day commitment of completing this Bible. Yesterday we had the names of those who sealed a covenant to walk in God's law and be a servant and observe and do all his commandments of the Lord and his judgments and his statutes. And today we have start on chapter 11, where it talks about new residents for Jerusalem, where it says that, and the rulers of the people dwelt at Jerusalem. The rest of the people also cast lots to bring one of 10 to dwell in Jerusalem, the holy city, and 9 parts to dwell in other cities. So they divided all of the people into these kind of like sections. And it says, now these are the chief of the province that dwelt in Jerusalem, but in the cities of Judah dwelt every one in his possession in their cities, to wit, Israel, the priests and the Levites, and the Nethinims and the children of Solomon's servants. And we continue this breakdown of all of the people, all of the sons and the sons of the sons and the generations of how these people were dispersed across Jerusalem, and the remainder dwelling in other cities. So the farms, the lands, the villages, the fields, things like that. And a mention of all of the priests as well that were maintaining the house of God. And Jerusalem's walls are dedicated to God, so there's lots of singing and praise. And there are people appointed to the fountains, the gates, the stairs, all of the places of God's temple. And they offer great sacrifices and rejoice, for God has blessed them. We then have a small section here talking about the duties of the priests and the Levites appointed to temple service, the singers and the porters, all of the ways of upholding sacrifices. And I mentioned here in chapter 13 how the Israelites are separated from the mixed multitude. So essentially saying that on the day that they read the book of Moses in the audience of the people, they found that it was written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of God forever, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our God turned the curse into a blessing. So these people are separated. And we have a section here where Nehemiah ensures that the Levites receive their portion, because they started to see that the Levites and all these people that uphold the house of God were not being provided for by all of the other individuals, all of the other citizens, as it was written in the Bible and in the commandments, that the keepers of the temple will be provided for by others. And so Nehemiah comes down and he sees that they're returning to their field to work, essentially, right? To work the land, to be able to eat and stuff. And so then he says, then contended I with the rulers and said, why is the house of God forsaken? And I gathered them together and set them in their place. Then brought all Judah the tithe of the corn and the new wine and the oil unto the treasuries. So he establishes treasuries, and he makes sure that people are set straight, and that the Levites are accounted for and provided with their portions, and the singers and whatnot. Nehemiah also ensures that no work is done on the Shabbat. So there's some people that come through and they want to, run some business on the day of the Shabbat. They want to sell some wine and grapes and things like that. And Nehemiah gets really frustrated and he shuts them out of the city, and he actually starts closing the gate on the Shabbat in order to prevent people essentially from sinning. And he also tells people, you're no longer to come here on the Shabbat. And he commands the Levites and everybody else to cleanse themselves from some of these sins. And lastly, here, Nehemiah dissolves marriages to foreigners. It says, in those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Did not Solomon king of Israel sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our God in marrying strange wives? So essentially saying, you're no longer allowed to be married to foreigners. We're going to purify this line. And Solomon, the king of Israel, also sinned when he slept with women who were foreigners as well. And why would we do this again? Why would we transgress against our God just to marry strange wives? And this is the section that I end on. It says, "Thus cleansed I them from all strangers and appointed the wards of the priests and the Levites every one of his business, and for the wood offering at times appointed, and for the first fruits. Remember me, O my God, for good." So this is the book of Nehemiah. I'm officially done this section. Tomorrow is day 107. December 16th, I start the book of Esther, and I will let you know what I learn then. Thank you for listening.